right, you know what time it is. Live from the Bare Muscle Garage, it's time for Fit Crew. What do we got in store for you today? Let's go ahead and share this on screen. So today, we've got a skill descending ladder for you. We're going to be doing 10, 8, 6, 4, 2 of bar muscle ups and hang snatches, progressively getting heavier each round. Now, we may be looking at this thinking, man, these moves seem impossible. I don't even have the equipment. And even if I did, this seem kind of crazy. Don't worry, guys. As always, we're going to warm up really well. And we're going to go through all the options that will allow you to do this workout or your version of it right where you are, using what you have and doing what you can. But let's go ahead and start this general warm-up, which is going to activate the muscles that we are using in today's workout. And the first move that we're going to do is the pigeon. And let's go ahead and have Twin One demonstrate the pigeon for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then pigeon is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's sink into the pigeon on this side. So on this pigeon, we are laying face down and we've got the one leg up and across the chest, other leg back, and we are sinking into this pose here, which activates the glutes, relieves issues that might be going on with the IT band, and overall promotes good squat positioning. And let's go ahead and switch sides here. We're going to get the other leg up and across the chest, other leg back. And this pigeon is one of the most important activations that we do. As previously mentioned, it helps us with our squats. We always talk about chest up, shoulders back, knees out to the side. And that is actively what we are improving here in the pigeon. Next, we've got some Supermans, and let's go ahead and have Pippi demonstrate 2 Supermans for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then Supermans are going to look like this. So let's all join in here and let's do 10 Supermans together. So on these Supermans, we are still laying face down, but we've got those arms out in front of us, legs back, and we are raising the arms and the legs, holding the top for about 2 seconds, dialing in that arch position before coming back down. And so good job here on these Supermans. Next, we're going to roll into some bird dogs. And let's go ahead and have Twin One demonstrate 2 bird dogs for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the bird dogs are going to look like this. So let's all join in here and let's do 10 bird dogs together. Now, it could be that this is a bit hard on the wrists and the knees, in which case we got you covered with some options. We can do the dead bug, which is the upside down version of the bird dog. Let's have Twin One demonstrate. We're going to be on our back, and we've got those arms in the air, knees in the air, and we are lowering opposite arm, opposite leg, while keeping the other arm and leg stationary. But if we're doing the bird dog as prescribed, we're on hands and knees, raising opposite arm, opposite leg, going back and forth, holding the top for about 2 seconds before switching sides. So good job on these bird dogs or dead bugs, whichever is better for us. Next, we're going to do some air squats. Let's have Pippi demonstrate 2 air squats for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the air squat is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 air squats together. So on these air squats, we're going to have those feet shoulder width apart. And we're going to initiate by setting those hips back and down, pushing the knees out to the side until we get those hips as low as we can get them, below the knees if possible, keeping the heels on the ground. And then we're going to push through the heels until we get all the way back up to a fully standing locked out position. So good job here on these air squats. Next, we're going to grab a broomstick or a mop or a PVC pipe. We always start light before we go heavy. Plus, we're going to do some shoulder mobility right now. So we want nothing heavier than a broomstick. And let's look on as twin 1 demonstrates 2 pass-throughs for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the pass-throughs are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in here and let's do 10 pass-throughs together. So on these pass-throughs, we've got a nice wide grip on that broomstick. And we are pulling it up and over all the way around, touching that lower back in the back, belly button in the front. And the secret to a good pass-through is that smile, which relaxes the muscles and helps us have a nice fluid range of motion. So good job here on the pass-throughs. Next, we're going to do some snatch grip deadlifts, but first Pippi is going to show us how we hold that thing. We're going to have a hook grip, which is thumb wrapped around, fingers are over the thumb, and we have a nice wide grip because we're doing some snatches. And let's look on as Pippi demonstrates 2 snatch grip deadlifts for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, same hook grip, those snatch grip deadlifts are going to look like this. So let's all join in here and let's do 10 snatch grip deadlifts together. So on this deadlift, those feet are going to be close together underneath the hips. At the start of the deadlift, those hips are going to be super low, but the chest is up, shoulders back, and we're looking straight ahead. And we're going to take a deep breath in and brace that core as we drive the ground away, getting to a fully standing locked out position with the shoulders back at the top. And then we're bracing the core on the way back down as well. So good job here on the snatch grip deadlifts. Next, we're going to do some snatch high pulls. And let's go ahead and have twin 1 demonstrate 2 reps of the snatch high pull for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the snatch high pull is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the snatch high pull together. So on the snatch high pull, we're starting the very same way as that snatch grip deadlift, except we're gonna add some speed past the knees. As soon as that bar reaches those knees, we are going to pop with the power of the hips, getting that bar up to the upper chest area, but we're keeping the elbows high and outside like a scarecrow in order to keep it close to the body. So good job here on these snatch high pulls. And then finally here in the activation phase, we are going to do some overhead squats. And let's look on as twin one demonstrates 2 reps of the overhead squat for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the overhead squat for now is going to be some behind the neck press like this. So let's all join in and let's do 10 overhead squats together. Now, on the overhead squat, it's just like the air squats we were doing before, but we are adding this element of overhead stability. We are pressing up and back on that broomstick, getting those hips as low as we can get them, actively pushing back as we descend in the squat until we reach that full depth. And this can be a very challenging movement for some of us. If we need to modify this by doing some assisted squats, let's have Pippi demonstrate here. We can sit and stand to a chair or a footstool or a medicine ball or whatever is needed. But if we are thinking about adding some load to this particular movement, then we are looking to hit that same depth that we see twin one doing here. Hips all the way down below the knees, pushing that arm up and back until we get all the way down, reaching full depth, and then full extension at the top. So good job here on these overhead squats. Well, that is it for the activation phase. Now we're going to move on to the movement prep, which is where we're going to practice specifically the 2 moves that we are doing in today's workout. The first move is the bar muscle up, which, as the name implies, usually involves a bar, a pull-up bar. We start by hanging below it, and then we pull ourselves up above it. Very simply explained, very hard to do. So many of us don't even have a pull-up bar. We're actually going to go over first an at-home modification, which is actually a good transition drill. It helps us to practice getting that speed, the shoulders over the hips. We're going to do some deck squats. And to demonstrate the deck squat, or as we love to call it here, the roly-poly, let's have Pippi demonstrate the deck squat for us. So just the standard version. So this is a standard deck squat, getting all the way down, rolling back, punching forward, standing up. Now, it could be that, hey, we're ready to take this up to the next level. And let's have twin one demonstrate here the weighted version of this deck squat, which we've come to call the weighted glute bridge get up. So we have a weight in hand, and then we get back into a high glute bridge position, and then we punch forward, taking that all the way through, standing that up at the top. So as we can see, that definitely does take some practice. Let's see another rep here, getting all the way back, getting some momentum from a glute bridge, keeping the heels on the ground. Now, it could be that we need to actually scale this down a little bit. We can do some assisted deck squats. And let's have Pippi demonstrate here. That's basically rolling back into your couch and then rolling forward, standing up, preferably without the help of your hands. If you have a lower surface that you could use, such as a low bench or something along those lines, progressively getting lower to the ground, these are all different options here. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then we have a couple options. A challenging option would be if we happen to have a chair with handles and we can actually press up like this. I'd like us to do some seated dips in this way. But if we don't have a chair with handles, that's completely fine. We can actually do a different move to preserve the stimulus of pulling and pressing. And we're going to get two dumbbells and we're actually going to do an Arnold press. Starting from the ground, we're going to hit a curl press overhead and then return those dumbbells back to the ground like this. So let's all join in here if we haven't done so yet, and let's get at least another 3 to 5 practice reps of whatever version of the roly-poly that we choose to do. It could be that we are working on this glute bridge get up, rolling back, popping those hips up, but then punching forward, standing up without the heels leaving the ground. That is the key detail there. Or it could be that we are still working on the assisted roly-poly, getting back on the couch, standing up. If we've been doing this for a while, maybe we can find a lower level of assistance. Now, at this time, if you do happen to have a pull-up bar or something like it, we can start to practice at least assisted pull-ups. We can get our knees or our feet up on an object behind us, and we can pull, getting the chin above, back down. And then for the dips, we can either get two chairs. That's a very good solution there. We've got twin one set up to do some assisted dips here. And notice safety first, right? Even with the knee protection. But then with the toes on the ground behind us, we're going to lower those shoulders below the elbows and then press back up to lock out. So good job on whatever version of the bar muscle up or assisted pull-ups and dips or roly-poly that we decide to do. The second move that we are doing today is the hang snatch. And we're going to practice two versions here, the hang power snatch and the hang squat snatch. So let's grab that broomstick and let's look on as twin one demonstrates 2 reps of the hang power snatch, followed by 2 reps of the hang squat snatch. So these are power snatches in which we are not squatting, and then the hang squat snatch in which we are squatting all the way down. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the hang power snatch is going to look like this. So let's all join in here and let's do 10 reps of the hang snatch, potentially 5 hang power snatches and 5 hang squat snatches. But let's just talk a little bit about that hang squat snatch position. You know, in the warm-up, we were practicing that overhead squat. If we were still struggling to get all the way down with the right shoulder stability, let's just stick with the hang power snatch for today. We already got some overhead squat practice in, and the more consistent we are with this program, the closer we'll be to being able to add some load to that squat motion. But the hang power snatch is going to start at about the knee level, and then we are jumping and punching that bar back. And for those of us who have the mobility to descend into the squat, that is actually helpful as we potentially add weight to this motion if we are proficient and solid in this position. Then squatting under more weight is going to be the way that we achieve the heavier and heavier weights. So good job here on either the hang power snatch or the hang squat snatch, whichever version is appropriate for us at this time. Well, now it's ramp up time. If you've been earning badges and you'd like to add some weight to do either the scaled, intermediate, or RX weight in today's workout, then let's start to gradually add some weight, doing about 3 to 5 practice reps of those weighted roly-polies if we're doing that, but especially the hang power snatch and potentially the hang squat snatch if we're choosing to do that. Reminder, no need to squat today if we're still working on that overhead stability, being able to descend all the way down, hips below the knees, keeping the heels on the ground, keeping that arm locked out. If we're still working on any of that, let's keep that weight super light, that broomstick, and keep it in the power position for today. But whether we're adding weight or not, let's pay close attention to the following checklist. Number 1, please make sure your device is fully charged or plugged in so we can get through this whole workout without losing you. Number 2, let's grab some water. Let's take a sip. And let's make sure we got our water nearby so we can take a sip as needed all throughout the workout. Number 3, I'm going to give everyone a 3, 2, 1, go countdown. And that's how you can synchronize your timer with mine if you choose to use one. Number 4, music. Super important. We want at least a couple motivational jams. They're going to help us to get through these progressively heavier sets, potentially. And of course, this high skill move with the roly-poly or the pull-ups and dips. So what's on your motivation playlist? You can blast your music as loud as you want, as long as you can still hear me helping you throughout the workout. And lastly, how are we keeping track of these rounds? This is a 5-round workout. The reps start high to get low. The weights are going up. There's a lot going on in here. It's going to be easy to lose track of what's coming up next unless we are teachers' pets and we came prepared with the workout written down and potentially some type of scorecard. So if you came prepared, let's go ahead and show that whiteboard on screen. And let's take a teacher's pet picture just to show how prepared you are. So teacher's pet picture in 3, 2, 1. Awesome. I'm going to bring the workout back on screen one more time, and then we'll get going. So in just about a minute, we're going to start this timer, and we're about to do this 5-round descending ladder, ascending weight workout of 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, bar muscle ups, and hang snatches. So specifically, we're doing 10 bar muscle ups, followed by 10 hang snatches, 8 bar muscle ups, 8 hang snatches, 6 and 6, 4 and 4, 2 and 2, potentially adding weight on the hang snatches each round. For the bar muscle up, most of us are probably doing some version of the deck squat, aka roly-poly, whether we're adding weight or not to that motion. If we do happen to have some type of pull-up bar setup and some type of dip setup, then we can substitute a pull-up and a dip for each rep of the bar muscle ups. Meaning in the first round, we'd be doing 10 pull-ups followed by 10 dips, and then the 10 hang snatches, so on and so forth. In the round of 8, we would do 8 of each. In the round of 6, 6 of each. On the hang snatches, we have the choice to power or not. I recommend, if we have the mobility to squat, that we squat at least 1 rep in each round to help us to get used to squatting progressively heavier weights as we may need to as it gets heavier. But if we are not squatting and we're just powering it up, then let's, of course, make sure that we are using weights that are appropriate for us, and that, of course, we're ready to be adding these weights, making sure, of course, that we've earned those badges first. So your score is going to be the time it takes you to get through these 5 rounds of descending reps, potentially ascending weight on the bar muscle ups or deck squats or pull-ups and dips. We have those options there. And then the hang snatches whether we choose to squat or not on those. If you are good to go, give me a thumbs up over here and we will get this started. I'm going to give us a 10-second countdown and then I'm going to highlight Pippi to get us going. So here we go, guys. 10 roly-polies or pull-ups and dips. 10 hang snatches. Squat or not is up to you. And then 8 of each, then 6 of each, then 4 of each, then 2 of each, potentially adding weight each round. Starting in 10 seconds. Let's get ready. 3, 2, 1, go. And we are off on these roly-polies. If we're adding weight, we're keeping the heels on the ground. If we're not able to keep the heels on the ground, let's just put the weight away and then do the regular roly-poly or perhaps even the assisted roly-poly. Or it could be that, hey, we are choosing to do some version of pull-ups and dips. So we've got twin one hitting the rows, followed by some dips. And we've got Mighty Mouse doing personalized options here with some assisted roly-polies. But after those, we are now getting that bar and then hitting these hang snatches. Let's make sure that grip is wide for the snatch. And let's make sure we got the hook grip on there. But we are jumping, punching under, standing to finish. Oh, let's stand that out, punch it back. There we go, much more solid. And that's why it's good to get at least one squat practice rep each time, whether we choose to squat at the start or squat at the end. But nice work here. We are getting this in. Jumping that up, punching that back. Now, as far as adding the weight goes, I would recommend in today's workout that we just go straight to the next round after we finish this round of 10. And then we add the weight as we get back to the bar. That's going to give us a nice natural break before hitting that heavier weight. But most of us just about finishing off round 1. Moving on to this round of 8 for round 2. And everyone here is on track to finish within today's target window. And the target window is nothing more than the best way to know if we've made the right choices in today's workout. As we earn badges, we start to perhaps add some weight as appropriate and do some more challenging movement options. And we know we've made the right choices if we finish somewhere within the target window of time. Not too much over, not too much under. Right in the sweet spot is where we want to be. But finishing off these 8 roly-polies or pull-ups and dips, and then potentially doing some barbell NASCAR, adding some weight. We see Twin One adding some weight over there. And we see Betty Boop with a slightly heavier bar on this round. Using the power of the hips and the legs, jumping that up, punching that back. And we got Mighty Mouse with a heavier bar. At the bottom of the snatch, Mighty Mouse, let's keep looking up, all right? Let's keep those eyes focused straight ahead in order to keep that back nice and straight. That's much better. And we've got Pippi with a heavier bar. Hitting that jump, hitting that punch. Choosing to squat all these. When the choice is ours, we definitely do want to have some balance If we don't have to squat, we should squat, maybe a couple, but then power as much as we can in order to get that speed. You see Pippi returning to the power position over there. But swing one, powering through the second bar. Especially as the bar gets heavier. We talked about squatting at least one of them. I would favor squatting the first one and then seeing if we could power the rest as that bar gets heavier and heavier. But we are now moving on to this third round of 6. This is what we call the bridge in a 10-8-6-4-2. The rounds of 10 and 8 feel pretty similar in time and effort. The round of 6 is where we really start to make some headway, and it feels like we are getting into these lower rounds here. Hitting these glute bridge get-ups. And Mighty Mouse on this bar here, finishing that bar there. Betty Boop on this bar here. Now, as we're adding weight, it could be that we decide, you know what, I've gotten to a weight that I just don't want to go any heavier than this, even in the later rounds. That's fine. We can keep that same weight. Always safety first. But we decide that just based on our form. Are these snatches feeling snappy? Am I able to jump, punch, lock out quick? Or am I pressing these out a little bit, losing my balance? If that's the case, let's just keep the same weight. Let's not add any weight to that. But Pippi with some snappy snatches here. Hitting that jump, punch under. Twin one as well. Adding weight, but keeping it snappy. We got Betty Boop and Mighty Mouse moving along to the round of 4 here. Getting closer and closer to the finish line, down to that round of 2 at the end. So let's keep pushing, let's keep moving, let's keep breathing. Pippi staying super smooth on these glute bridge get-ups. Betty Boop snatching that weight, keeping it close, popping that up. Mighty Mouse on this bar. Boom, keeping that close, popping that up. And there goes Mighty Mouse across the finish line. Betty Boop on what looks like this last round of 2. Pippi getting that bar, about to hit a snappy snatch. Swing one, heavier weight, still moving that bar, keeping it close. Using the power of the hips and the legs. Jumping it up, punching under it. Pippi on what looks like the round of 2 now. Betty Boop on these last couple snatches. Punching that back. And there goes Betty Boop across the finish line. Pippi getting to that bar. Swing one as well. Hitting that jump, hitting that punch under. And it looks like twin one across the finish line. Pippi as well across the finish line. Well, that was crazy as always. But now we're at the best part of the workout, which is the cool down stretch. And this stretch is super important to help us fight soreness, increase flexibility, so we can come back day after day, staying consistent and committed. So the first we're going to do today is the scorpion stretch. And that's going to be where we're laying face down. We've got those arms out to the side, and we've got that one foot going the other way as close to the hand as possible. And while we're doing this, let's hear some high-low buffalo. Let's hear first from our heat winner, Mighty Mouse. And if we're doing this in a seated position, we're gonna get the one arm up and pull to the side like this. But what is your high-low buffalo, Mighty Mouse?
My high was doing the seated version of what I was doing for the bar muscle up, with the dumbbell. I did have a low, but my buffalo was I wanted to do heavier. But when I first did that first round, I kind of had a pain in my back, so I was scared to go heavier. But hopefully when I get this workout again, I can go heavier like I wanted to.
And you know what? I appreciate that honesty, and even more so, I appreciate the smart choice you made. As always, safety first, but you chose the weights that challenged you enough that you were able to keep your form on those snatches, of course, staying off the pain train. Good job, Mighty Mouse. Let's go ahead and switch to scorpion on the other side. We got the other arm out to the side, and we are getting the other foot going that way. And while we're on this side, let's hear from twin one. And if we're doing this in a seated position, we're getting the other arm up and pulling like this. But what is your high-low buffalo, twin one?
My high was doing the dips. The low was a snatch, and the buffalo was, I was able to go higher on the snatch. I was gonna chicken out and not put weight on it. But I was like, no, let's put a little bit of weight on it. You could do it. It's just a move I struggle with a little bit. It's more mental. But little by little, add little weight at a time. I could do it, right?
Snatching ain't easy. You are not alone. But yes, I am glad that you challenged yourself and kept it within a manageable level. So good job, twin one. Let's go ahead and switch to dragon. We're gonna get into a nice long lunge position like this, stretching out that back quad, the front hamstring. Hey, if this is hard on the knee, then that's okay. We can do a single leg forward fold like that. And while we're doing this, let's hear from Pippi. And if we're doing this from a seated position, we can twist toward the right, holding on to whatever we need to. But what is your high-low buffalo, Pippi?
So my high was the glute bridge there with the weighted, doing the deck squat like that. It was more challenging, but it was good. I like that. I like that challenge. Low was just with just, the bar, just making sure my form, that first one I did okay in the warm up. I don't know what happened to me with the first WOD, but hey, it happens. And I think buffalo. So yeah, for me, it's like the mental challenge is that when I know I have to squat it, I know it gives you more power, but for some reason to me, when you start going up, it's like, oh, I got to squat this, not just, so just getting over that, still getting a little bit more weight on there and still trying to accomplish to do that. But, I was happy. I just kept doing it progressively. So, and thank you for the tip of doing a little of both, because that does help for sure.
Most definitely. All these little things add up, and the more comfortable we can get in that overhead squat position, the more power and mobility we can unlock for ourselves. But always, of course, at the right weight, at the right time. So good job, Pip. Let's go ahead and hit dragon on the other side now. We're in a nice long lunge position like this. And once again, if that's hard on the knee, we can do a single leg forward fold on the other side. And while we're on this side, let's hear from Betty Boop. What is your high-low buffalo? If we're doing this from a seated position, we're twisting toward the left now, holding on to whatever we need to.
Okay, well, my high, two highs. I like the hang snatches, and I like descending. I always love descending, so that was my high. The low was that the squat snatches. I was only able. I did 3 of them with the 15-pound bar, and after that, I said, okay, I have to let that go for the rest of the WOD, because I was able to increase it finally. I guess that's my buffalo. Without squatting, I was able to do the snatches up to, I think, 40. Yeah, 40. So I liked it. It was a great WOD. Thanks, Coach.
Man, what an inspiration. 40 pounds overhead, nothing to sneeze at. Good job, Betty Boop, making the right choices both in the movements and challenging yourself on the weight as appropriate. Well, that's our WOD, that's our stretch, that's our high-low buffalo. You know what's left, this sweaty selfie, because does it count if we don't take that selfie? Let's flex on the camera and let's take this selfie. Sweaty selfie in 3, 2, 1. And crazy face. And let's put the fists in the middle for the cheer. On 3, 2 claps. Fit crew. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Big Crow!
Big crew.
Fit crew. Thank you so much. If you enjoy this program, then please give this channel a subscribe, a like, and a share. Thank you very much, and see you next time.